Good evening and welcome to the Coon Rapids City Council meeting for Tuesday, June 7th, 2022. If you could please rise and join us for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Griscoviac.
Here.
Councilmember Ray Rauer.
Here.
Councilmember Hernandez Jr.
Here.
Councilmember Geisler.
Here.
Councilmember Johnson.
Here.
Councilmember Carlson.
Here.
Mayor Cook.
Here. Thank you. Next, let's adopt this evening's agenda.
Move adopt the agenda. Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Carlson to adopt the agenda. Any discussion or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the agenda is adopted. We don't have any proclamations or presentations, and we are up to the approval of the minutes of the previous meetings. And our first meeting was from May 3rd.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a move to approve the minutes of May 3rd, 2022.
I'll second.
Motion by Geisler, second by Hernandez Jr. to approve the minutes of the May 3rd, 2022 meeting. Any discussion or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And those are approved. One abstention, Councilmember Ray Rauer.
And Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the May 17th meeting.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Geisler, second by Ray Rauer. Any discussion or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And those minutes are approved. We have 6 items on our consent agenda this evening. And the first one is actually item 3, if you're following along at home. And that's to adopt Resolution 2269, accepting the Community Strength Foundation donation. Community Strength Foundation has donated $9,350 to offset costs for the 2022 Summer Concert Series. So we are looking to adopt a resolution formally accepting this donation, which is required per state statute. So we're looking to adopt Resolution 22-69, accepting the donation of $9,350 from the Community Strength Foundation for use in the 2022 Summer Concert Series. Next item on the consent agenda, which is item 4, is to accept a sidewalk, snow storage, and planting easement from Ridgecrest Coon Rapids 1 LLC. So on April 5th, 2022, the City Council approved a final plat for a 2-building restaurant retail redevelopment of the former Golden Corral Old Country Buffet restaurant at 3580 Main Street. As part of a condition of approval, a sidewalk, snow storage, and planting easement were required to be provided by the property owner to the city, and the property owner has provided those. So we're looking to accept an easement for a sidewalk, snow storage, and planting purposes from Ridgecrest Coon Rapids 1 LLC over portions of lots 1 and 2, Block 1, Riverdale Commons, 7th edition. Item 5, which is the next item on our consent agenda, is to approve a maintenance agreement for Aspen Park Fastpitch facilities. So for approximately, I'm just going to read this because this is a pretty big deal that we've come to this. For approximately 20 years, the Coon Rapids Fastpitch Association has provided girls fastpitch softball services in Coon Rapids. During this time, the program has moved around to various parks. With consolidation of Central and National Little Leagues, Aspen Park became available to accommodate the fastpitch needs. City staff and the association have come to an agreement for maintenance, utilities, and use of the concession stand, which is in line with agreements executed with other similar groups. So let's see. So the city converted the fields to fastpitch infields, and fastpitch began use in 2020. As the association has grown and evolved, members are now able to support their own concessions operations and game maintenance. The association's close relationship with the high school program has also allowed for some night games and hosting of section play for high school postseason. The association has agreed to pay $1,000 per year to the city for use of Aspen Park and its amenities. The group will be responsible for all costs associated with equipment they own within the facility, chalking fields, and game day needs. The city will continue to maintain the building structure, mow grass, and drag fields on game days. So we're looking to approve the maintenance agreement for Aspen Park operations between the city and the Coon Rapids Fastpitch Association. Next is item 6, accept right of entry and stormwater operations and maintenance agreements for the Dollar General. At the January 20th, 2022 Planning Commission meeting, the applicant received conditional site plan approval for construction of a proposed 10,600 square foot Dollar General retail building. The right of entry agreement allows the city to periodically enter the property to exercise hydrants and valves and flush the water main system. So we are looking to accept the attached right of entry and stormwater operations and maintenance agreements with DGOG. See, it must be Dollar General something, Coon Rapids, Min 06032021 LLC. Okay, clearly they're not marketing that. All right, for a proposed 10,600 square foot Dollar General retail building to be located at 10524 Hanson Boulevard Northwest. Item 7 on our consent agenda is to adopt Resolution 2270, accepting a donation to the Multicultural Advisory Committee. Connexus Energy has donated $2,500 towards the purchase of promotional materials for the Multicultural Advisory Committee, or called the MAC, for continued multicultural outreach initiatives. The City Council is required to accept financial donations by resolution per state statute, and the staff intends to purchase promotional items and have them available for use at the upcoming Summer in the City meetings. So this action is to adopt Resolution 22-70, accepting donation to the Multicultural Advisory Commission, the MAC. And then number 8 on our agenda, which is the last item on our consent agenda, CenterPoint Energy made a donation of $2,300 toward the purchase of training center video equipment for the police department. The City Council is required to accept financial donations by resolution per state statute. So we're looking to adopt Resolution 22-71, accepting donations for the police department. It's just for purchase for training center. Isn't that the Carlson Training Center?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, the police department calls our facility the Carlson Training Center, named after one of our council members.
Yeah. Well, actually named after one of our police officers. In
Fairness.
fairness.
All right. In his previous iteration, as a police officer. But yes, in this case, the video equipment is to video the officers as they're going through their scenario-based training so that we can critique what they're doing. That's what the video equipment is.
Oh, very cool, very cool. All right, that is the full consent agenda.
Your Honor,
Councilmember Johnson?
I would like to move adoption, acceptance, and approval of the 6 items on the consent agenda.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion by Johnson and a second by Hernandez Jr. Do we have any discussion or questions?
Your Honor,
Councilmember Johnson?
I would like to, in particular, thank Connexus Energy and CenterPoint Energy for their donations, both to the MAC and also the police department. It's really wonderful to see some of the entities, the business entities that we have in the community support these kinds of efforts. I'd also like to thank Coon Rapids Fastpitch. Aspen Park is like right behind my house, so I can hear the tink of the bat when they're playing at night. And I can just say, and also kudos to Ryan Gunderson with the Parks Department, because that park has gotten so much more activity in the last 2 years than it had in years prior, and the parking lot is full and families are there, and it's a really vibrant space. in the evenings when the games are going on. So I think it's a really neat thing, and I would like to support it. But I also wanted to say something about consent agendas. I think sometimes it's easy to gloss over the stuff that's in the consent agendas, and this is one where, in particular, if the community looks at this consent agenda, to see the Community Strength Foundation donation, to see, you know, us working with local businesses, to see the donations being made to the city for city programs that are being recognized by the community. A lot of really important and good stuff gets done even though it's on the consent agenda. And so I think this is one in particular where I'd really like to highlight how significant it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion on the consent agenda?
Your Honor,
Councilmember Hernandez Jr.
I'd like to just piggyback on what Councilman Johnson said. I'm currently coaching as well for Coon Rapids Fastpitch, 8U, and I'm glad to see as well. Aspen Park has been getting a lot of action lately, and I'm glad to see it back on its feet. I actually went over there before. They got it all revamped and everything, so they're cleaning it up, getting everything there. They had youth night there. We had the seniors there. My daughter just had their last few games there as well. So it was really nice getting a lot of the kids out there and just get that park going. And I just love the activity going on there. And especially with the Multicultural Advisory Committee, I was actually a part of that group before joining the council as well. So it's nice to, you know, give them back and, you know, just recognizing all these groups as well. So I'm very humbled in, you know, seeing all this happening. So
I think I have about a half a dozen softballs to return to you, so that you pick them up in the backyard.
Any that your dogs haven't chewed?
Right.
All right, we have a motion and a second on the consent agenda. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, and that is adopted. We are up to item 9, which is to consider Public Works HVAC modifications bid, project 2265, and that didn't go so good for the bids, eh, Mr. Himmer?
That is correct, Mr. Mayor, Council. We only had one bidder. The bidding environment is a little difficult out there. There seemed to have been a mix-up with a couple others that were supposed to be putting in a bid. Numbers are higher. It seems to be a trend these days, but we believe we can get a little more competition. So we'd like to throw out the existing bid and rebid the project, and we're pretty confident we'll get at least 3 bidders this round.
Okay. It'll be interesting to see how close you come in the eventual bids, because we're estimating we're 50% higher here now, right?
That is correct.
All right. Does anybody have any questions of Mr. Himmer, or does anybody want to make that motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Geisler?
I'll make a motion to reject the bid from UHL Company for the Public Works HVAC modification project and authorize staff to re-advertise the project.
Second.
Motion by Geisler and a second by Carlson. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. Item 10 is to consider a contract for Phase 2 Citywide Card Access, Security and Camera Updates, and Master Consulting Agreement with Pro-Tec Design. Mr. Hammer, you want to hit the highlights, or do you want me to read your
Mr. Mayor, Council, I can give you a brief update. Pro-Tec has done a lot of work for us, primarily in our IT division. We just didn't have them under a master agreement. So they did Phase 1 projects, which was the replacement of all existing card readers around all city buildings. This one adds additional card readers at some of our park buildings, fire stations, ice arena, and it also upgrades and adds more security cameras at some of those facilities as well. So surprising to say, this one came in slightly under budget, and so I would happily recommend to you that we get Pro-Tec under our master consulting agreement and authorize the letter of engagement as well.
Very good.
Your Honor,
Councilmember Raybrower?
I make a motion to add Pro-Tec Design to the city's consultant pool, approve the proposal for the second phase of access card reader replacements and camera updates at city facilities, and authorize appropriate staff to execute such agreements.
Second.
Motion by Raybrower and a second by Geisler. Is there discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Kraskowiak.
I just had a little question about adding these to our consulting pool. It's a pretty big project, $375,000. Was Phase 1 and Phase 2 bid out competitively before Pro-Tec design was awarded?
Councilmember Scovia, Council, Phase 1 project did receive multiple bids. Phase 2, they're under the state contract for bidding, so we didn't go with anyone else because they did the guts of, basically they put the brains in on Phase 1, and this allows them to tie everything in. So they were the most in the know for this, and again, it came in under budget, but they are a part of a state contract as well.
Mr. Mayor, I know that we've been adding contractors in our program since 2013, but I just have a objection to adding these to the consulting pool without having any presentation from Pro-Tec Design in front of the City Council.
I don't know that we've had a presentation from any of the others, though.
Well, that's kind of my point.
You have a bigger point.
I mean, they came in competitively in round one. We selected them. They were round two because of the state contract. But, I mean, if we have a big project like this again, it's going to be easy to just select them, and then we're losing the competitive nature of this. Those are my concerns.
Okay, Mr. Stemwell?
Mayor and Council, I think it's good to clarify that under the state contract, the state has effectively done the bidding for us. So public entities are able to grab onto that contract and satisfies the bid laws that are contained in state statute. And so in this case with Pro-Tec, they've already done the bulk of the work in the Phase 1 project. And so for us, there's really only one contractor we could work with. We still have to satisfy, given the amount of the contract, the state bid requirements, but the state's done that for us through their process. So while they were selected in this case, they were selected as a preferred vendor because they've already done the basis of the work.
Right.
And the dollar amount should still be competitive because the state has done that part for us already. Where in round one, we didn't have the benefit of knowing who we wanted to go with yet.
So as a follow-up to that, Mr. Mayor? Go ahead.
Councilmember Scovia.
I was just going to say, if they're part of the state contract and we can use state contracts, why would we then need to have them in our consulting pool?
Mr. Hammer?
And I'll just say, Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Skobiak, that we have used them a lot in IT, even prior to my time here. And whenever we utilize a consultant, they come in with their contract, their general contract with all their exclusions and everything they want to do. And we don't like just signing their proposal. So what this gives us is our backhand specifications, our liability requirements, everything else that we want in the contract. It's not their language, it's our language. That's why I would like them to be under ours versus every individual proposal not knowing what the strings that get attached to each of those proposals. This just kind of sets the bar consistent with all of our contractors that they have to meet our requirements, we don't have to meet theirs.
So we're not skirting the competitive bid process. We're just trying to get everybody on the same set of rules when they do work for us.
That's
Same
correct.
set of expectations.
Yeah.
That's correct.
And Mayor, Council, nor does it allow staff to simply sign on to a contracts or projects above our authorized threshold. I'm authorized by city charter to execute agreements under 100,000. And so anything above that would need to be approved by the city council and budgeted for, and all those other things meet state statutes relative to bid law, those sorts of things. This really does set the boilerplate the way we want it versus however they have it.
Okay.
And I'll just add, Mr. Mayor, that just because they're under a master consulting agreement doesn't preclude us from getting multiple bids at any point on any project at any time.
That's a good clarification right there.
Okay.
I think if we see big projects like this come up, even though they're in here, we're going to get a competitive bid. So. Okay,
And I'll just give you an example. We got a water tower potentially coming up, and we've got multiple consultants in that pool. It just gives us a way that you're going to follow these rules, give us multiple bids, RFP process, whatever that happens to be. But just because we have them in there doesn't mean we're just going to use them every single time. I wouldn't do that.
Comfortable with that.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? And that motion carries. That was an excellent discussion. All right, item 11 is to consider a joint powers agreement with Anoka County for County State Aid Highway 18 Bridge Replacement Project 21-24. And I've got to say, I was surprised by this. I didn't see this one coming. Was this on our extended list that I missed, or no?
No, Mr. Mayor, Council, this was one that the county's been having some issues with the culverts that are there on the Coon Creek portion. So they were getting some federal dollars to improve the bridges. And so what they wanted to do is at least get us across the bridge without extending further to the north. So this gives us the ability to improve the culverts that are there, widen it to the point that if we ever need it in the future, it also gives us a trail on the west side, a sidewalk on the east side, very minimal cost to the city to do this. There are no plans for any sort of widening or expansion. I don't even think it's in the county's comprehensive plan or 20-year plan to do so. They were just able to secure some federal dollars to improve a bridge, and it's basically a culvert. There'll be 2 culverts in its place, and they'll be widened slightly to allow some pedestrian way through there. I'll expand a little bit further that this would be kind of a next phase of a Coon Creek Trail, potentially following the creek up towards 131st. It's in our master plan as well. This kind of allows us, if we can get the first phase done up to the bridge here on Main Street, you cut on over and you're up Coon Creek, cross that bridge and on your way up towards Crooked Lake Park. So this is a county project, minimal cost to the city. It is a short turnaround project. I believe it's a 2023 project. And we have some dollars that I would put in the budget as part of the budgeting process if council wants to proceed.
Yeah, I think our portion was only like 8,000 something, wasn't it?
Those are estimated costs. I'll be very clear about that. In this environment, I want to be straight.
Your Honor,
Councilmember Ray Rower.
I make a motion to approve the execution of a joint powers agreement with Anoka County to reconstruct the bridge and adjacent roadway on County State Aid Highway 18 over Coon Creek.
Second.
Motion by Ray Rower and a second by Carlson. Is there any further discussion on this?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Griscoviac?
this kind of did sneak up on me too, like you mentioned. I didn't know that was happening out there, so I actually reached out to the Anoka County engineer, Joe McPherson, talked about this a little bit, and just a few things on this. One, it's kind of like where we had the problem on Main Street, where that's boggy in there and that land bridge is happening, so there's some of that needs to be reconstructed. This is in Ward 1, and I read on the Anoka County website that it's going to be 4 lanes. So I asked, are we going to expand Coon Creek going north to 4 lanes? That's not part of this project, of course, but it does allow for that in the future. The other thing that I like about this project is I drive this all the time, and 4 lanes merge into 2 lanes right on that bridge and right on that corner. So cars are always kind of getting pinched right there, and it sounds like this is going to alleviate some of that too. So I think overall, a great project for our community at minimal cost, since it's a county state aid project. So it's got my support.
All right. Very good. We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion?
Just the only other question I have, Your Honor, is
Johnson?
this just a 1-year deal, right? The construction that's anticipated isn't scheduled to go over a winter?
Yes, Councilmember Johnson, I believe the language in the JPA is as soon as materials are available. So if it can't be done in 2023, it's just ordering materials and getting them. They're an odd size culvert, and so as soon as they're available, the project would be done at one time. We wouldn't start it and wait. It would just be when materials are available.
I think some on the council here know my concern, but that is I don't ever want to go another winter again after Foley Boulevard of having an unpaved project through a winter. So as long as it's not that, I'm all for it. It sounds like a good project.
I'll stay on Joe.
Please do. It was good to work with. So.
All right. Further discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. And we are up to the open mic public comment. Is anybody here to address council for open mic this evening? Open mic? No? All right. I don't have any reports on previous open mics, and we are up to other business. We have meetings in the park starting, and we have music in the park starting.
Correct, Mayor and Council. Our first Summer in the City meeting is a week from tonight at Flynn Park. It's an annual event where we bring out city staff from various departments to engage with the community. We'll have trucks there, fire truck, dump truck, police squad.
Ice cream.
Some ice cream, water, entertainment this year. We're trying to up the level. So I think we have someone called the Bubble Baron there on Tuesday who's going to be doing kind of big bubble shows for the kids off to the side just to try to engage people more. It's a really nice opportunity if you've got questions about what's going on in the city, if you're just looking for general information. It doesn't take a lot of time. There's a short presentation, that sort of thing. And so we have 3 of those, the first one being a week from tonight at Al Flynn, starting at 6:30.
It's such a wonderful event for our residents to come out. It's such a relaxing way to meet staff, to meet their council members, to meet, and just get information. There's things that you will learn that you never knew that you didn't know, or, it's very interesting. So, excellent. That's next Tuesday night, Al Flynn Park, 6:30, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. And then Jenny's got a calendar.
I always have
over
the
here.
calendar up, yeah. So on Sunday, this Sunday the 12th, at Sand Creek Park is the bike rodeo. And that our police department's going to work with kids and get the do's and the don'ts of riding your bikes. And there'll be, I think, little obstacle courses. So a fun event at Sand Creek Park on Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2. And we have the summer concert series that starts. And the first one is the 9th, so that's only 2 days away. So this Thursday, the Castaways. And it's a variety group, and so that's at the Coon Rapids Dam Regional Park and starts at 7 p.m. So bring your lawn chair or blanket, and there will be, I think it's the Lions that have little food in there that you can get, so you can have a lot of fun at the dam with the concert on Thursday.
Yep. If you want to eat dinner, though, get there early because the food is gone early. And then you're just got popcorn and candy and pop from the Boy Scouts, which is good, but it's not a walking taco or a cheeseburger. So then before we have our next council meeting, there will be the next concert in the park on the 16th, right? Won't that be before the next council meeting?
Yeah, the 16th, Sawyer's Dream, and that's 70s Americana.
Okay. Sawyer's Dream?
Sawyer's Dream.
All right.
And so you can just go on the city website, and there's all kinds of great things. We've got our Rec on the Spot. So those are our little traveling groups of recreational activities that go park to park, and it's all free for the kids. So you can take a look at when those start. They start on the 13th, and the first one is going to be Monday, the 13th, at Thorpe Park, and that's from 9:30 till 11:30. So lots of fun things in your neighborhood just to take a look all summer that these are happening, to bring your kids to the park and enjoy the activities.
Splash pad is open.
Splash.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Other business to come before council this evening.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Hernandez Jr.
I would just like to congratulate the class of 2022, Coon Rapids High School.
Yeah.
Job well done, and another year down, and would again like to congratulate the class of 2022 and others who have worked hard and achieved another goal and off to another chapter in their lives. So,
Very good.
Sounds like a proud father of a graduate.
Yes.
All right. Any other business? Anything else from staff? No? All right. Peter, anything we should know about coming up?
Well, on that,
We'll read it in the paper, I know.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Geisler to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.